Yay. Okay, now. Awesome. Okay, so now we should be recording. So if you don't want to be seen, feel free to turn your video off, but keep your ears on. So anyway, for those who might be new to our very last meeting, I'm Andrea. I am the current PTO president, only for a few more days. Really, technically, not really even more, because Dante's already been voted in. So technically, our new president, current president, is Mr. Dante Peduzzi. And I offered to let him run this meeting today, and he was like, yeah, maybe not yet. So he will be taking over. We're going to introduce the new board at the end, all amazing people that all of you probably already know for the various things that they already do and are involved in. So anyway, we're going to get this meeting started. And the first thing that we'll need to do, as we do in every meeting, is we will need to approve our minutes from our last meeting. That meeting was back on April the 9th. There was no new business. There was nothing new voted on. So I just need someone to approve our minutes from our last meeting. And as always, thank you, Dante, as a PTO member, you have access to all of the agenda and minutes on the PTO website. So, all right. Let's move on along. Thank you, Dante, for approving our minutes from last month, and Christy Young. All right, so first of all, we have our teacher rep, Miss Ann Calbert. So I will pass it over to her.
Once I unmute. Hi, everyone. How are you? Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for an amazing Teacher Appreciation Week. I mean, you guys really knocked it out of the park. Even though we hated, I feel like PTO is such a big part of that week too, because I feel like y'all are up at the school so much that week, and there's a lot of, just communication and collaboration, and just, being able to see y'all. You made it still, even though you couldn't be here, you made it such an amazing week for all of us. And we truly felt the love. And when I saw those huge boxes of crumble cookies, I really felt the love, because a week before I had just discovered crumble cookies. So to see, like, I took a picture to show my friends, because I was like, this is what I get at my school. So I just want to say thank you so much for everything you did for us. I mean, it was completely amazing. The staff is going on and on and on about it. And I just can't thank you enough. I mean, considering y'all couldn't even be up here with us, you really made sure that we were taken care of and appreciated and well fed, and just thank you so much. And also, another thing I wanted to add is I saw all the boxes of yearbooks up front. So I don't know how those are going to be distributed, but if I can help in any way with that, let me know.
Awesome. Yes, our fabulous Teacher Appreciation Week chair is Marco Braley. So all thanks and appreciation goes to her, even though she hates being called out and hates being in the spotlight, but she literally put the entire week together. I mean, she did everything. I mean, I had to keep saying, you don't have to do this by yourself. We can help you. We can help you. So she's a one-woman show, and she is also in charge of yearbook. So I'm sure she will be putting together a plan. We'll let her discuss that when her little turn comes along. So yay, thank you, Miss Calbert, and all the teachers. We love you so much, and all the hard work that y'all put in does not go unnoticed. We love the fact that you love on our babies, and it's been amazing. So thank you. Pass that on to all the teachers. We love y'all super much. Yay. Okay, so next we have our treasurer, who is Miss Rachel Cantillon, for the next few minutes. She will also be switching out positions, so I will let her.
I will indeed. Big thanks to Jeannie for stepping into the treasurer role next year. And so, with that, we'll have a number of closeout activities to do in the remaining month. The treasurer is the one role that doesn't just get to Step aside with the voting. I'll be closing out our fiscal year ending June 30th. So we do still have a month of opportunity for any residual transactions. I mean, obviously there won't be many since we're coming to the end of the school year, but if there are any outstanding expenses, we have this window to address them, get reimbursements where they need to go, and that kind of thing. These numbers that I'll present to you today are not a final on our budget for the year, but we are pretty close to that point. So I'm going to take a, oh, I was going to share my screen, but that's apparently not possible. Okay. So instead, I'll just give you a landing. For the year, we hit our income goal by 121.4%. So a success overall. In large part due to the success of our fall fundraiser, which exceeded our expectations, and then ongoing success throughout the year in our spirit events and our various rebate programs. So when you're grocery shopping, if you're doing it at Kroger's, Albertsons, that kind of thing, you are supporting the PTO. And those things have really added up this year. We had, let's see, overall at $800 with spirit events. We had $600 with those various sponsorships and rebates from businesses, or another nearly $1,000. Then we kind of wrapped it up with some donations in the spring fundraiser to just kind of get us over that 100% mark up to the 121. So by no means our greatest fundraising year, but everybody stepped in and kind of kept us whole. We're set up well for next year. So, with that, on the other side, working to keep us whole for next year, our expenses were less than 50% of what we budgeted. So I think we took a pretty conservative approach over the year, really questioning, do we need to make this expense? Do we not make this expense this year? So even though we'd given a somewhat normal budget for a lot of the activities, some things didn't happen, and some purchases were vetted a little bit more closely. So that means our bank account sits at over $97,000 at this point, and gives us, I saw the little dance there, which I love. It sets us up nicely to start to return to normal some next year. And I think that's something I'm really looking forward to. So I'm happy to hand it over in this position. And of course, as always, if you want the details on the budget and where the expenses have been made, there'll be an updated report on our website after this meeting, and then you will see the closeout report at the year end if you're checking in over the summer. Okay, room for questions if anyone has any. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, so next we would be moving on to Lauren Blanks, who's our corresponding secretary. That is a position that you will see in the fall, has kind of changed names with the update of our bylaws. So that position will actually become the communications secretary, which will become Marco. So anyway, just to close this one out, Miss Lauren, do you have any updates as outgoing correspondent?
The only thing I would say is to continue checking the website over the summer. We'll be posting updates right now. We have school supplies on there. We also have a form. Miss Cargbo sent out a survey, and at the bottom it had, we're just going to start collecting names because we're not sure what we're going to be able to do next year, but we would love to have a list of volunteers as soon as we get the okay that we can start doing stuff. We want to fill positions. And so it's on the website, it's on the survey. And so hopefully we'll start getting more responses so we can kind of create that list. You may see some things break over the summer because that's my time to like recreate the homepage. So if you see it broken for a little bit, I'm working on it, trying to fix it, trying to get it up. So we'll be ready for the new school year. That's it.
Yay, thank you. All right, so moving on, Teacher Appreciation Week was, as Ms. Calvert said, a huge success, solely in part to Miss Marco Braley. So we want to give her a big round of applause and a huge thank you for all of her hard work. So thank you, Marco. Do you want to say anything about Teacher Appreciation Week?
You may never want to do it again, but
No, I'll definitely
we
help
appreciate
out.
it.
I'll definitely help out next year.
Yay. Okay, y'all all heard it here and it's on video. She said she will help out with Teacher Appreciation Week next year. So remember that. Go watch the video again if she denies it. All right, moving on. Dad's Club is currently headed up by the fabulous Dante Peduzzi. He will be taking over as president next year. So his final remarks as Dad's Club coordinator.
Thank you all for a lot of great input this year. I think we had some good ideas that we couldn't test this year due to COVID. So we're going to try some new ideas next year. We look forward to continuing to get input from y'all here and from the PTO in general and parents and teachers of how the Dad's Club can be more involved and be more visible. In that spirit of next year, I asked Tam to join us. He's going to start joining us going forward, along with hopefully other dads, right? This isn't just the exec board and standing committee chair, but Tam Vo will step in as the new Dad's Club chairman going forward starting next year. He is here with us today. We haven't really talked too much about transition and what's what and big ideas. So I don't know if you have anything to say, Tam, but I'll give you a minute here in a second. But as the agenda talked about the basketball hoops, that was a lot of fun. So those kinds of ideas, I just wanted to highlight that from the agenda. Please keep the Dad's Club in mind for those kinds of things. You know, maybe if the school opens up, we can have a day where dads come in and fix things around the school without asking the district if we can, kind of stuff. You know, what can we unclog or clean or quick in and out sniper type stuff. So Tam, you want to just quick introduce yourself maybe, or whatever you want to say?
Yeah, thanks, Dante. Glad to be here. Glad to be part of this group for next year. For those I've not met, I'm sometimes out there helping kids, zapping kids' foreheads with thermometers and whatnot. But yeah, like Dante said, very much open to suggestions. I have some ideas myself. Would love to meet your kids' dads and have y'all kind of twist their arms into coming out as well. Obviously, the more that we as dads can have a presence in our kids day to day, the more we can set a better example for the future. And that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thanks for stepping up, Tam. That's all we have, Andrea. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. And yeah, y'all, Dad's Club has just been a huge, just success this year. So much help with, bringing in thermometers, donating those to the school, helping with carpool, even during STAR testing, they've been out helping with carpool, the basketball goals, everything. So, huge thank you to you, Dante, for, getting this started. And Tam, we look forward to you. Well, I won't be here, but they look forward to you continuing such an amazing program. So thanks y'all for doing that.
I do have one thing I'm sorry I forgot about. It's more of a question for everyone here, either to think about or if you have an input now. But one thing we did start, and it's being published as a Dad's Club thing, but it's not necessarily just dads, right? But reading to the students. Principal Carbo mentioned this, I think, months ago, as something for us to consider. We finally connected with Ms. Cutshaw, and it is a thing now. And a couple of dads have submitted, but I don't know that many, right? We're towards the end of the year. So, I'm not asking for a big push now, but maybe just for us to think about over the summer, how we can do those kinds of things next year. if dads are allowed in the building, regardless, right? It's still nice maybe for a teacher to be able to plug in a quick video for 10-minute read and its actual book. So if you have a way of maybe spreading the word on that other than what we've done so far.
It's something that we can also put in newsletters. You know, if we write up something pretty soon, even if it's for next year, to kind of get parents starting to think and dads starting to think of, you know, getting prepared for that for next year.
Yeah, and then never underestimate the power of a kid's guilt trip, right? Bobby's dad is doing it. Why aren't you doing it?
Yeah.
I heard of a story this morning. Somebody said, Dad, Tam did a book. Why aren't you reading a book for us?
Nice.
It's funny.
I love it. Yay. So thanks y'all for doing that. And I know y'all are going to do some amazing things next year as well. So awesome. Okay, moving on. Fundraising is Miss Sarah Braun. Sarah, do you have anything you would like to say?
Yes, first, thanks to everyone who donated for the spring fundraiser. As Rachel mentioned, we had set a lofty goal, I guess, of $10,000. And to date, we've received just over 3,300. So like she said, maybe not our best fundraising year, but we're at least set up to, to start next year off right. The form is still active. So if you're anything like me and you just forgot, you can go to our website. There's not necessarily a link to it, but if you go to wse-pto.org and then /spring_fundraiser, you can still donate. So I know some of the teachers are still sending it out in their newsletters. So we've received a few just surprises since it closed. And like Rachel mentioned, continue on with all of the passive income, the Amazon and the grocery shopping. You have to set up your accounts though. So if you have any questions about that, it's all linked on the website under the fundraising tab, or you can email me. It's really easy to do and it's a one and done, and then you're just earning money for the PTO. So we appreciate it. The other things are, as we start planning for next year, we will need someone to help out with sponsorship. That's, you'll see on our website, we've had a few sponsors that have been consistent throughout the years, and then we've kind of added some new ones. So all of that information we have available to you. It's just a quick email typically, maybe a conversation with the company. So it's a very simple thing to do and very effective. I believe we didn't do it this year just because of how things were. We didn't want to burden businesses with that. So, but 2 years ago, I guess, we brought in, I think, right around $7,000 with that. So it raises a lot of money for us, and it gives some businesses awareness of all that we do. So need some help with that and maybe some other things. So if you have any interest in fundraising, just reach out. That's it.
Thank you, Sarah. Awesome. Okay, next, moving on to yearbook. That is Miss Marco.
Yes, so the yearbooks have arrived. I've sorted them by grade as of right now, but we're letting STAR testing finish before we pass them out. So we will pass them out, distribute them the week of May 24th. I don't know if there's a day in that week that's better for us to do that. Just let me know.
You can do it any day that week.
Okay.
As long as STAR testing is done.
So probably I'll come in on Monday, and the ones that are face-to-face we'll send to the classroom and they'll take home, and then the online kids will have a pickup time. I was going to ask too, around what time do you think is best for parents to pick up?
We've had a lot of success with like a 12:30 or a 1 o'clock pickup because instruction for online ends around noon, and they have a recess lunch break. And then if parents are working from home, they could come up on their lunch break. So that 12:30 time has seemed to work.
So we'll probably do that on Monday if that's okay, and I'll get the information out next week. So sorry, my assistant has joined. So anyway, that'll be happening the week of the 24th. And I would like to do it on Monday if possible.
And so I
That's the
know
plan.
yearbooks are sold out. Are there any signs of any coming back, resurfacing? Because I've had quite a few teachers email me.
I have a handful of extras that I will sell, but I'm waiting till everyone picks theirs up first to make sure. I mean, I've gone through most of them and checked them, but I just want to make sure everyone's okay with them. And then I will have some extra to sell, but not a lot. So I will, and I have a wait list going too. I'm sorry, I have a child singing in the back and they're so loud. I have a wait list going, so I'll get those people first, and then I'll see how many I have left over. But
So how would one get on that wait list? Like if she dropped the ball and completely forgot to order, and
you can email
her
me.
child doesn't know that yet.
If it's you, I'm sure I have one for you. Just send me a message. Just send me a message because I should have enough.
Okay.
I've already set a lot of the waitlist ones aside, and some of them asked for 2. And if I would rather get more families,
Yeah,
1 than get a family 2. So
you're
that's
right.
another thing that I'm looking at too. So, but I definitely should have extra. But you can email me at the yearbook at WSE PTO
Yeah.
email address, or just my email, or just send me a
Okay.
message here.
All right,
So-
thank you.
I have a quick question, and I don't know if this is at all feasible or not, but for like the online kids, I know that sometimes they like having their teacher having written something in it.
Mhm.
Is there any like way that it doesn't burden the teachers, but that like those could somehow be like gotten to the teachers to put messages, or like for people that would want their teacher? I don't know. It may just be too much of a mess to even try, but
Well, I feel like we're handing them out early enough, so maybe once you pick up your yearbook, you could email the teacher and.
yeah, that may be
Yeah.
the easiest way.
And one thing we might have to do is, because our online teachers have up to 30 kids in a class. So that's a lot of notes.
Yes.
But the teacher might be able to send like a nice email that a parent could print and put in the yearbook,
Yeah.
that's like this is the end of the year message. They basically all do that anyway. It would just be telling parents, like, I know it's not with a pen and a paper, but just commemorate it by printing it and, putting it in there. I'm sure individual teachers will make accommodations, but that's not something that, knowing their end of year checklist right now, that's not something that I'm going to put on all the teachers.
That was my thing. I was like, I feel like that might be, but I like the idea of like even an email because it seems very fitting for the year.
Okay, and I think that is all on the yearbook, and hopefully people like the yearbook.
It looks amazing. Thank you for doing it.
Yes, it's beautiful. You did a great job. So yay. We hope you'll do it again next year. Well, I should say they hope you'll do it again next year.
That's the plan.
Yay. Awesome.
Got to do more Easter eggs and people will pay even more.
Yes, there are some fun
Oh, my
little
goodness.
things to
Yay,
notice
okay.
in the yearbook.
All right, so school supplies, as was mentioned, school supplies are currently available on the PTO website. There's a link that you can order school supplies for next school year for whatever grade level your child will be in. And those will be delivered to your home. The last date to purchase, I think, is June 13th, maybe? It'll say it on the website. Is it?
So
Okay. So yeah, but that's on the website. You can get those ordered. Again, they'll be delivered to your home, and you'll have them all ready for the first day of school in the fall. Okay. So PTO information. We have we're coming to our close. So the PTO updated and approved the bylaws. Again, if you are a PTO member, you can view those bylaws on the PTO website and the updates that have been made. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there have been a few changes to the exec board. Our past bylaws did not have fundraising as part of the exec board. We kind of figure Sarah's the one that brings all the money pretty much into the school, so she's pretty important. So that position was moved into the exec board, changed a couple of names of positions, but again, we appreciate all the hard work that went into getting those bylaws updated, because the ones that we were working off of, I think Rachel has mentioned in the past, were original to the founding of the PTO at WSC. So like, 20 some odd years ago. So anyway, thanks for all the hard work on that. Okay, right now I'm going to introduce our new executive board for the fall. And I will let them introduce themselves if they would so choose. So first of all, we have Dante Peduzzi. He'll be the president.
Hello, everyone. My name's Dante. Nice to see. I think I know everyone. Sonia, nice meeting you. Thanks for joining a PTO meeting. Next year, we're discussing methods of having these. We're likely not to do a full survey because I think we'll get more input from non-attendees than attendees, but we're going to start doing some informal surveys of how best we are going to handle these going forward. So thanks for coming, Sonia. Thanks to everyone. I appreciate all the votes. It was a contested, highly hard battle, but I made it through. So thank you. Thank you for the support, all my campaign managers. Thank you for all that. There's three things I just wanted to say that we're going to focus on next year. This is based on conversations with Principal Carbo, Andrea, and the exec boards here. I think that the main thing is post-COVID strategy, right? We're going to re-strategize what is next year. What can we streamline our events with? What did we not do this past year that maybe we don't pick back up? What have we not considered in the past that we can maybe do? So it's going to be sort of a disruptible year in a good way. And we hope to make it exciting and fun. With that comes the finance and budget. That's the second kind of bucket that I think of how can we reprioritize our strategies based on the budget. And then the last and maybe most important thing is how do we reconnect? How do we re-involve and interact with parents and families? And along with that comes diversifying our pool of PTO to look more like our population of students, our executive board going forward, et cetera. So those three things I hope everyone keeps in mind over the summer. We'll be looking for help and support and trying to see how we can make those three big things our part of our mission. So thank you.
Yay! I know it's so cool to have a dad on board. So it's far too long that it's been, the moms in charge. So we're super excited to have Dante on board. Okay, so next up, our new vice president, Christy Young is our outgoing vice president, and our incoming vice president will be Lauren Blanks.
Hi guys, I am excited to help Dante and assist in any way if you need to reach out to anybody with ideas. We met earlier this week and all of us have been emailing and texting, and we're just excited about the possibilities for next year. So if you have any ideas, questions, concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm excited to work with all of you guys.
Yay, we laughed. If you look on the roster for PTO positions, I think we counted Lauren was on there like 4 or 5 different times. She wears many hats. And so we're excited for all of her knowledge that she will bring to the vice president position. So we're excited to have her on board as well. Next, our outgoing treasurer, although she's not going out of the school, she still has a kinder, but Rachel Cantillon has been our amazing treasurer for the last 2 years, and taking her position is Miss Jeannie. So we're excited to have her new to the board.
Hi, everybody. I am looking forward to working with you, Rachel, to get up to speed on everything and getting to know all of you much better. Looking forward to it.
Yay, thank you. Okay, and then one of our new positions is communications secretary, and that person in the past we've had somebody that's in charge of website, we've had somebody for social media, so all of those will now fall under the communications secretary, and that is Marco Braley. You want to say anything?
Yeah, that's it. I don't have much else to say. I'll just keep doing what I've been doing, I guess. And yeah, I'm looking forward to working with everyone. I don't know if they feel the same way, but I'm excited to work with them.
Oh my gosh. The one thing that y'all will find is that you have a very funny board this next year. They are quite comical as individually and as a group. So it will not be a dull year, that's for sure. Okay, and then new to the board, she's not new, but her position is new as an exec board position, is our fundraising secretary, and that is Miss Sarah Braun.
Yep, that's me. Like I said, would love any help with any of the aspects. I put all the information in the chat too. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good year.
Yay. Awesome. So that rounds out our new exec board for next year. So I'm giving them a round of applause. Super excited for all those who will be taking over. And again, like I said, there's always room for more. So the different PTO positions, volunteer opportunities can be found on the website. And those, obviously will be changing, morphing based on what the needs will be for the next school year as we find that out. So anyway, okay, so moving on to announcements. Don't forget, no school on May 31st. Don't bring your child. No one will be there. The last day of school is June 3rd. That is now a full day of school. It was a half day, but now a full day. So don't forget about that. Although if you came and picked your child up at noon, teachers probably would not mind. And then my last push is that we have visors still for sale in the PTO, on the PTO website, in the Spirit Wear store. So we still have visors. They make great teachers' end of year gifts as well. Don't forget. We also have a few vintage t-shirts available in youth sizes. If you would like a vintage shirt from year before last, those are available as well. Again, sizes are noted on the website. Feel free. Obviously, there's been a price reduction since they were new, so feel free to go and check those out. And with that being said, I'm going to hand this over to Principal Carbo.
All right. So I have a lot of updates, but first I just want to tell you guys that you have been absolutely amazing this year. I did not know how the year was going to go for a lot of reasons, but the fact that PTO kept going was just phenomenal. So I'm so proud of everything that y'all have accomplished and continue to accomplish. And I just thank you like from the bottom of my heart, because I know that this is your time and your family time that you are donating and volunteering to us. And I know it feels like a job at times, but it is so appreciated by everybody at school. And I know you haven't gotten to see that. Luckily, one of the days Marco was up dropping off the cookies, two of our first grade teachers like tracked her down in the front and opened the door, and we're just like squealing with excitement for the cookies. So she got to see that a little bit. So I know that when we're able to do more of those interactions, it'll feel a little bit more normal again, and like remind you why you're volunteering and doing all of this. So I just wanted to thank you all for that. A couple of things that have just been updated that I want to let you guys know about. So we have a new marquee, and it's electronic, and I'm sure you've seen it. And it's causing us to have a little bit different procedures. So Sugarland has all these rules about how long something can be posted before it changes. And what's on the front side is on the back side. So before, we would have one side for school information and birthdays and the other side for PTO information. And now it's just the marquee. So whenever there's anything that needs to be posted on the marquee for PTO, Molly Thompson is handling that for us. So it can be emailed to Molly Thompson and to Estella Pena, because Estella will do it over the summer. But anything that needs to be posted, instead of someone coming up to volunteer and put the letters up, we just email, we program it, and we can program in advance. So there's like for birthdays, she's able to program that this person's birthday comes up on, May 25th, and it'll just start showing up then. It doesn't have to be done right at that time. So we can get ahead. So I guess that's a communications type thing to just be aware of. And they might be able to give you more information about limitations on word count or size, or they're doing awesome. So I know nothing and they know everything about the marquee. For next year, so the theme next year is WSE 3.0, stepping into the future. It is officially the 30th year of Walker Station to be serving kids in the community. So we wanted to have a little bit of that and a little bit of the futuristic, because it is going to be a disruptive year where we let go of some things that are, traditionally part of public school or traditionally part of Walker Station. And we look to see how we can do things in a more innovative way. The survey results. So I sent out a survey on Wednesday, and I've already gotten over 80 responses, some with some commentary to, go through and the open-ended comments. The biggest comment is about masks, and masks are not a campus decision. So there was no questions about masks, but that in the open-ended responses, that's kind of what's been put in. And to tell you that we are split, we are very split. With the questions about should volunteers come back at lunch or should parents be able to eat with lunch, we have people making comments that are adamantly it's not safe to have unvaccinated visitors on campus, to this is so stupid, I just want to have lunch with my kid. So it's very split, and that's why it's so hard to make some of these decisions. But luckily, it's not my decision to make. It's going to come from the district on what we're able to do and what we're not able to do. What I do think we will be able to do in the fall is outdoor events. So I anticipate that Meet the Teacher will still be virtual in August, because I predict, this is just my thinking of how it will go, is that we will slowly start opening the floodgates. And as we open the floodgates, we will measure if we're keeping kids safe along the way before we open more. So I think that we will be able to do outdoor activities with guests, and there could be options of masks or no masks at those events as adults so choose, for their family. So we'll keep that in mind as we plan. I'm hoping that by the time spring comes, or possibly sooner, we will be able to go back to indoor activities. I think that it would be premature to plan anything inside for the fall. So we'll just kind of keep that in mind. And if that makes us want to push something to the spring in hopes that it could be inside, then we want to keep that in mind, planning looking forward. So to close out this year, typically at the end of the year, our students take a little on-foot field trip to the park for a longer recess lunch. And so since we can't go off campus, we're doing it on campus, where we've kind of rearranged the schedules so that they can have an hour time frame where they're outside, where they can have recess and lunch together, bring some of those things that they like to do, like bubbles and chalk, and just let them have that time. So we're trying to do something similar to what we normally do at the end of the year. Someone is holding something in my window. I bet that's Mr. Permenter. Okay, so that's the plan for that last week. So 2 grade levels a day will have it. And for 5th grade, since this is really their last time, 5th grade, the online students will be allowed to join because it'll be after the noon time. It'll be the last day of school. Our 5th grade students traditionally do a last walk through the building so they can see all of their old teachers and their old teachers can see them. And so we are planning it so that when they walk through, they'll walk out the pre-K door, which is kind of by the staff parking lot, walk around the building outside and then back into the 5th grade door. And then if any parents happen to be there, or some of our retired teachers, I've let know that they're going to be walking, that they're going to come up and wave at them, from outside. Then 5th grade teachers will be prepared to check students out from there, should they so choose, before the end of the day. So that's kind of the plan for that last day for 5th grade, to still make it special, but to still follow all of these procedures that we're following, and to do something a little different than the other grades. We are planning on everyone coming back face-to-face in the fall. We are not going to be offering online instruction. And that will give everyone else an opportunity to do that last walk and, everything else. So we are confidently sticking to only the 5th grade online kids coming up for that, and no parents in the back for the recess lunch, but parents can, linger in the front of the school, where the kids are going to walk by. We're not going to, call the cops on them or anything. They're welcome to just hang out with themselves while the kids are doing that. I did want to say thank you for all the Dad's Club solutions. The best way that I can say it, every time they've seen a problem, they've offered a solution. So the basketball courts were looking old, they fixed them. We need more help in the morning, they came. We needed more thermometers, they appeared. So we just really appreciate that. Men like to fix things. So thank you for, fixing those things. And hopefully that we will continue to do that. One of the reasons I like kind of just throwing out what we're doing is you give us great ideas. So after the last meeting, when I talked about the read aloud, Lauren Blanks emailed to give us the idea of the masked reader, that teachers could disguise themselves and read to the kids and unveil themselves at the, later. And Miss Cutshaw ran with that. And so in the month of May, we've had our second reveal now, our second masked reader. They show the video of the masked teacher on Monday, and then they give clues to the kids during the week, and then they unveil during announcements. And it is really fun. When I was walking around dropping off things for Teacher Appreciation Week, the kids were asking me questions like, didn't you go to U of H? Are you the masked reader? And it was just really cute. They were excited. And so there's still a feeling of excitement in the building. I know that by the time they come home and throw their backpack on the ground and, all of that, you might not feel it. But we're still doing things in the building that are fun and exciting and different to try to keep that energy going. So the other thing that happened, NEHS planted a butterfly garden in the back where there's actual plants in the garden. It's just been a pile of dirt for a long time. So the other thing we did was connect two hoses together. So now we have a way to water the garden because it was already dying, 48 hours after it was planted. So over the summer, if people are ever up that want to water, we're going to keep the hose out. We do have to turn the water on with a little fancy device that the custodians have. But if we're here, then you can ring the front doorbell and we can go get it and turn the water on if people want to water. So I'm sure kids would do that over the summer if they're interested. So I'm just kind of throwing it out there. I know a couple parents have volunteered too, but we're hoping that the hoses are not damaged, just leaving them out because, we have a good community. So we're hoping that is, that remains fine. And hopefully we can keep that alive over the summer. And I think I'm
Can
looking
you
at my
just reiterate?
notes.
Sorry, so the hose is there, but the water needs to be turned on from inside. Is that what you said?
So it's turned on from outside, and it might not be such a fancy device. Like it could just be a wrench that does it. But we have a little thing that goes, you can tell how technical I am. It goes over the knob and you can just flip it really easily to turn it on. It's just so that people can't access our water supply without, someone doing it. And the hose is out really next to the garden. I'm sure some of y'all remember where we blew up the water balloons or filled the water balloon station for field day in the past by the pre-K door, kind of by the staff parking lot. And that's where it is. So it's just kind of wrapped up sitting there. The two things NEHS talked about getting next was like a container for the hose, like a stand for the hose, and possibly a rain barrel that could collect rainwater that could then be used to water. So they have great ideas to, keep this going. But I don't know that anything will be in place in 3 weeks. So
Yeah, the summer, the reason I ask is in the summer, right? We're all still around. So Tam and I will brainstorm how the dads can, I was thinking too, like how can we protect the hose and how can we get some sort of schedule going, but we'll see what we can think of.
Yeah.
Well,
Is there is there a particular time when it's like less disruptive for us to ask for the water to be turned on? Because we live very close by. My kids will be playing on that playground.
yeah, it's really anytime, like if you see our cars here, we're here. And if we're on a meeting, we just won't answer. But there's even a doorbell in the back by Miss Pringle's door. So the first grade hallway has a doorbell. When you push that doorbell, it rings to the front office and I can talk through an intercom. So I wouldn't even have to like leave the office if I was in the middle of something or if Estella was in the middle of something. And we could radio the custodian to just go to turn it on. So I think that hours are supposed to at least be 8 to 4 in the summer. So someone should be here at that time. The only week that we're closed is the 4th of July week. And so we might think about just leaving it on that week, so that if anybody did want to come, because 10 days in the summer could kill a whole garden. So we might just leave it on during that time, because I do believe the custodians are even off some of those days. So I think the kids will get the hang of it. And I know some of the kids that planted it want to come and water it anyway. So I just wanted to make sure people knew that the invitation was out there, that we do want it to be a community garden, like a community thing. And I'm sure at some point, some kid will come trample on it and things will have to get replaced. It's to be expected. So we'll just address it when that happens if we need to get more plants, because it's really not protected. It's not gated or anything. It's just out in the open. And we've had a couple of visitors to the back doing some things that they shouldn't be doing in the past. Hopefully no former students here, but we can never prove it. So those are the big things. The things we have our eyes on to purchase in the future. One of the big purchases that we were talking about doing before COVID hit was to add more picnic tables to the back. And so I'd even pulled up picnic tables and we had kind of mapped out where we could put them. And then COVID hit and then we didn't want to spend any money because we didn't know what was going to happen. So that's one of the things that I think the whole community could benefit from if we added, because right now we only have those two. Or one, I think it's two, that are close to the door. And we were thinking about adding them around kind of between the different structures and clusters so that a whole class could go out. So if they were doing a science experiment or they were observing the weather or the, clouds or whatever, they could all go out, have a seat at the picnic tables, have enough for the, 20 to 25, older kids there and have an outdoor space that they could learn. And so that's still on my radar moving forward. And the other thing is when the vestibule was built, we did not paint the office because we were going to have like a muralist come in and, my computer just went blank. Okay, so to have, you know, a mural come in, so that's also on the radar too. And then the third thing, teachers, when they got their new furniture, the district only gave the ELA teachers 2 bookshelves. And I hear a lot about the need for more bookshelves. And so if we were to purchase bookshelves, it would be like 1 bookshelf for all, you know, K through 5 teachers, and it has to match the new furniture, and it would be a big purchase. And so those are the kind of things that we're thinking about when you hear the $97,000. You know, besides the regular stuff, usually a chunk of that goes to updating the school. And those are some of the things that that we were thinking about. And so far on the survey, the number one thing parents want back are field trips. So as soon as, so that just tells us we need a budget for field trips, because that's a high priority. And then as soon as the district clears us to be able to go do those sort of things, we'll be able to plan them. So even if they all have to happen in the spring, like if that doesn't happen until the spring, then I just want to be ready to do that, because it has been the clear priority. Like over 50% of people's first choices has been field trips, which I was surprised about, but I'm happy to meet that need. So what questions do y'all have? I know I just kind of rambled about a lot of different topics.
Okay, I have a couple questions.
Uh-huh.
I was speaking with Olivia yesterday at swim team practice about potentially doing just a Walker Station shirt that is not year specific, just so we could have that. And she said, I feel like there's potential of a logo change and we're not sure. Do you have any updates on that?
So the logo change has totally gone down in priority with all the other stuff that has happened. So I'm fine with keeping what we have, and just like the stallion shape and the way that it's written, we're fine keeping it. It's funny when everything gets turned upside down, all those little things that you wanted to like tweak or improve, you're like, yeah, they're fine. So it's not even on my agenda to update.
Okay, perfect. And then another question about kindergarten. How is registration going for next year? Do you have any updates about that I could maybe be putting on the website or social media?
Yeah, so kindergarten is open to register. Right now, I feel like we have about 80 kids registered all the way, which is pretty good. We have 5 teachers allotted for kindergarten, which would meet the numbers, you know, like everything balances out. I think what kindergarten parents don't realize is that when they wait to register until July and August, we don't have time to adjust our staffing to meet their needs. So if they don't want 24, 25 kindergarten kids in a class, they have to register in the spring. And then of course, the parents who do register in the spring are never happy with the last minute people who then cause us to not, you know, to be over and not be able to get another teacher. So that's kind of the situation we're in. So right now we're appropriately staffed for what we have. We have plenty of room for more. I think the message could just be with any friends or communities out there is that don't wait. You can wait till the first day of school to register your kid and drop them off. We have to take them, but it doesn't help us prepare. So if they can at least do that, Stephanie's last day, she has a summer break. So Stephanie Riley's last day, I want to say, is like the second week of June. And so from the second week of June until about the middle of July, we can't register anyone because our registrar is not here. And then we kind of get bombarded in July. So I know some parents that might have gone to private are hesitant to come back because masks are still on, you know, listed as a policy. So I know some people won't come back until that changes, and we'll just address it when that happens. But for the kinder ones, if they're coming, the sooner the better. We'll still have 1 pre-K next year, and it was full like the first week registration opened. So we had 22 kids. I even think Brazos Bend is full, and now they're being filtered to the next school. And that just that's, just what happens with pre-K. But for kinder through 5th, we don't have a cap. If kids are in our area and zoned to us, we take them and then adjust the number of teachers from there as needed. But right now we're looking good.
Lauren, maybe there's something we can do with the neighborhood, with New Territory itself, like we were talking about the other stuff. I know they're like a month behind, right? So we might be too late for June, but maybe we talk to somebody there about putting something out
Yeah.
for the non-families, right? If they're a new family.
Yeah, even the sooner the better. Even if they start it online, then when they start an application, it goes in this queue, and we can see how many people have active applications. So we're constantly looking at how many are all the way registered, how many are in the queue, what's that number, and if everyone gets fully registered, do we have space for them? So I can start advocating for more teachers as soon as they're in the queue. And sometimes, so at this point, the district will say, well, the bodies have to show up. So if the first day of school, we do a warm body count where we literally count how many people showed up. And based on that number, if everyone shows up that says they're going to show up and we still need a teacher, then they start the process to get an extra teacher. Because sometimes people will register for school and at the Montessori and at the other place, and then decide at the last minute where they want to go, and they have a right to. So sometimes that happens, which causes plans to shift. Anyone else have questions or comments? It's your last chance before August. So for kindergarten orientation, I'm trying to think of all the other stuff people have asked. We're pushing kindergarten orientation to the fall, mostly because of masks. So mostly because we're trying to figure out what are going to be our protocols, because no instructional information will be received if people are worried about a mask or not a mask. So we want to make sure that that is solidified so that then we can actually talk about school. And that will reschedule, or we will set a schedule once we have some more dates and some more guidance on what events we can have in person versus online only.
You mentioned you were surprised by field trips being the top one. Were there any other surprises or things that you thought people might score a little higher?
I think some of the comments about technology surprised me. So generally, parents are replying that 1 to 2 hours of technology is reasonable. And I definitely agree with that. Just to put that in perspective, 2 years ago when we started the Blending Learning Initiative, I put it in our campus improvement plan that students should have at least 100 minutes of blended learning a week. And so that was 20 minutes a day. And that was a challenge to get people to at least do something technology 20 minutes a day. And we have just shot to the other end of the spectrum. So then now that we're, we have some choice, we get to decide where we're going to fall. And I think based off the feedback, I'm planning in July to do a team leader retreat. And so I plan on us dissecting blended learning and what kind of activities are beneficial and what is time fillers that just busy work. Because I'm, anti-worksheet of just giving them some busy work to leave them alone. The same thing happens with technology. You just get on an app and your mind turns off and you just push buttons and it's pretty to look at. And so we're going to do some defining of what's good technology use and what's not effective technology use, and how do we make sure that that they're just not using iPads to use iPads, but it's actually for them to learn something. And so that's going to be one of the activities and one of the conversations that we start. And what I would like to do is be able to get to 3 or 4 guiding questions that teachers could ask themselves before they plan a technology activity, and team leaders will help me come up with them because I don't have them in my head, but basically like, is it effective? You know, is it necessary? Is it, you know, how, you know, just, I don't know what the questions will be, but basically where we can say, we want to be able to answer these questions about any blended learning activity we do and share the questions with parents for accountability to say, if you think we're wasting time on technology, ask these questions and we'll be able to have a conversation about it. Because I do think it'll be a touchy topic moving forward. Especially there are some adamant comments about it's stupid that kids take a test online and you know, things like that. And the reality is when these kids go to take their driver's test when they're 16 or the SAT or their LSAT or, you know, whatever they're going to do later in life, it's all going to be online. It's all going to be electronic. So there's a mix between preparing them for the future and just throwing them in the deep end. Or just unnecessarily doing it. And so some of the technology was interesting. Of course, some people put all day, it's fine. And then some people put never, I never want them to such a, you know, they need pencil and paper. And so there's definitely a mix. I'm a big advocate for books in hands. So we have some great apps that kids can read, but teachers always hear me say, like, are books in their hands? Like, can a book be in their hand? Can you grab a set from the literacy library instead? Because I think it's so important, especially the younger ones, to turn the page and see the next thing on the page. It's just you know, it's a whole experience. So that's one of my pet peeves. So a lot of, you know, comments like that, which I completely agree with. We just have to find the balance moving forward. So that was a surprise. The events, of course, food truck night's my favorite, but it's because I don't have to cook dinner, and that was low on the list. The ones that were highest on the list have been the instructional ones, the field trips, the music programs, things like that. There's been some comments about muffins with moms and donuts with dads, and about making it more equitable in our name. And this has come up before. And so this is a hot topic on the news, and, you know, just with progressive family designs and different things like that. Are we being inclusive? And so that might be something that we think about moving forward. Is there a different way that we could word that, or, you know, call it family fiesta, or, you know, just something, you know, different that could be more inclusive, but still having the same things, you know, some of the same traditions. So things like that. I really love the comments. I mean, some of them I have to laugh because I'm like, oh, this is so far away from what we're even allowed to do legally at school. But they're interesting, and I like seeing people's opinions. A lot of parents have said they feel really disconnected from the school. And I agree, because I feel disconnected from parents. So it'll be nice to be able to start that again. It might not be lunch that is the way that we do it. But having some opportunities. A lot of the kindergarten parents have never stepped foot in the building, so they don't even know what it looks like. They don't know how to, you know, they haven't walked down a hall ever. So it's just, you know, those kinds of things. It makes a difference in knowing where your kid is. So we'll have a lot to think about, but I'm gonna pick out a couple comments to be able to share with people, and probably ones that are contradictory to each other, just so that people can see, like, there's a lot of opinions. It's definitely not all one way. But I'm glad that we did it. I'm glad that we're getting feedback. Because field trips are a mess for schools to do, and get the buses and pay for all this. And you only hear the kids say, like, I've been to the zoo, you know, and so you don't, like, they don't act excited, but it's nice to know that they really are excited. You know, but
To that point, I think in the past you've mentioned either doing or having already done something similar for the students.
yes,
get
so
their
we
input?
haven't done it yet. We are like crowning and star. I don't know how else to say that, but we have, 4 more days of this. And so with Career Day and College Week, we're going to have a little survey for them as part of those activities. And that Friday, the theme is Your Future Starts Here, and it's like a WSE theme day. So it might be on that Friday that we do it with the kids, because it could go along with the theme. Like, what do you want to see in the future at Walker Station? So that's something that I haven't even made it yet, because we just got this one out and it seems so simple, but it's just, one more thing. But we'll do it on that day, which means I have a week to get it together, but we will.
That'd be cool for us to see too.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Uh-huh. I do wonder if the kids will match their parents. Now, what kid doesn't want field trip? They might have field day as their first, because I'm sure they felt like they didn't really get it this year. But any other questions or comments or things to just be aware of? So the school will be open through the summer, and open as in people will be working here, not like open to everyone. But the only week that we don't work is the 4th of July week, and we don't work on Fridays. And so it's kind of longer days, Monday through Thursday. So I am available through email, or you could even call the school if there are ideas or planning or questions. And if you hear of, if there's any rumblings or, something blows up on Facebook or, whatever, and you want to let me know, just shoot me an email, because sometimes it's very easy. I can just call a parent and say, what's going on, and, find out. But if anything like that, you can reach out to me all summer and I will respond when I'm available. I am getting on a plane the day after the teachers are done to get away for a week. But then I'll be back the whole summer after that. I've never planned a vacation that soon in June, but I was like, we're going. So. All right. I just thank you guys so much for all of your help and our outgoing board. I know I got to thank you a little bit on Wednesday. So I just, I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see what the kids do. It's Tarsha and their future, because it's fun to watch them. Now all of Tarsha will be my former students here. So that'll be exciting to go back and see them when we can go visit.
I know I've already told the board, not to lose track of us, because we will now all have kids who need yes hours. So to please remember us so that our children can come back and do all of their yes hours.
Well, they can get their yes hours watering our garden for now.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I do want to say though, Piper's been at Walker Station for 6 years. So the last 6 years have been absolutely amazing. The most amazing of those years though have been the years that you have been principal. So, and I'm going to cry now.
Well, thank you for that. It's been a blessing for me too.
Yeah. You will never hear anybody say anything bad about you. You have been what has kept the school together. We had a little bit of a train wreck before you, but once you came there, everything's been perfect. So this is my realization that I'm not coming back. So, and I'm not a crier. So y'all are seeing something that doesn't happen. But yes, thank you for the beautiful flowers, the cards, the gifts that y'all gave us. Rachel and Christy and I were just above and beyond, and we really, really appreciate all the support. Y'all are an amazing group of people. Keep up the creativity. Keep up the ideas. The reason we have a website is because Lauren was like, hey, can I make a website? Absolutely. We wouldn't have made it through COVID without a website. Just Dante coming forward to take up the Dad's Club. He ran with it and it's been amazing. So just the amount of creativity that is within this group of people is just awesome. So continue to listen to each other, continue to be creative. Principal Cargbo, she is, as I've already told them when we had our meeting on Wednesday, that you are one of the wisest people I've ever met. And just for them to listen. When you speak, listen, because she speaks words of wisdom. She knows what she's doing. And she, out of anybody, will be their biggest advocate. You've always listened. And there have been times when I've been like, well, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, I get it, but let's look at it this way, So, I mean, I appreciate your guidance and your support, and I know that you will continue to guide and support all the new members as well. So we appreciate you. So I don't know if
Thank you for
Christy,
that.
I don't know if Christy wants to say anything. She's probably in tears, bawling right now off screen. And Rachel, do you have anything you want to say? I mean, I know you're still going to be there, but
I'm so glad for it. I mean, it does strike me that like, these past few years with you at the helm, Principal Clark, have been amazing, and they have been tumultuous years. We have had a run this elementary period between Harvey and then now COVID. I mean, it's really just been one unprecedented, absolutely, how do you deal with it kind of thing after another. And yet, there's been a strong community and a strong spirit at the school, and it's wonderful. I'm happy that I've been able to be a big part of the PTO throughout Elle's time. And Madeline will never let me get away with anything less than I have done for Elle. So I'm, stepping off the executive board, but that just frees up some space for me to support some of the other events and whatever the new ideas are that our new exec board is going to come up with, things that we just even haven't considered before. I'm sure there will be a lot of exciting opportunities, and I'm glad I'll get to be a part of those too. Thank you.
Yay. So I guess we will be signing off. This is our final PTO meeting for the 2020-2021 school year. Thank you again to everybody that's been involved in any way, shape, or form. So our next PTO meeting will be in the fall of 2021. So be on the lookout for that date. So at this point, do we have a motion to adjourn and send us out to pasture? Yay, Dante and Rachel. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining and enjoying our meeting. And again, if you ever have any questions, the PTO emails will remain the same. Dante will take over the presidential email. Lauren will take over the vice president email, and Jeannie will take over the treasurer email. Those simply just pass along. So if you have any questions at all, just email any of them and they will be happy to answer any questions. So with that, thank you, and we will see y'all soon.
Thank you. Great job, y'all.
Thanks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.